So I saw another question on Reddit that was, I have a lot of ideas and I don't know how to put them all together. So one thing that I will say that we did very intentionally about NoCap is that we actually help people formulate their ideas into a commercializable business. And we do that very intentionally through the application process to submit their idea to the network. So we have them fill out, a application that really gets to the core reason for the idea existing. We do a start prospectus, which has them it's basically like a memo. So we show them memos written about other companies that they've heard of and get them to adapt all of their concepts into this format that explains how their business will work. And then we also ask them questions based on that memo that's asynchronous. So they respond with Loom videos, which show them how to address people on video. I think that by doing this, we're not just doing what accelerators do or venture capital funds or any other place where they're, hey, you submit something and then we'll just gauge it based on what you submit. We're actually guiding them on a process of improving how they think about their business, but also how they present their business to others. And that's very intentional on our part, because even if they don't get accepted into NoCap's network, we really want them to make sure that they have a better understanding of their business at the end of the day after going through our process, which can be pretty rigorous. So with that said, if you have a bunch of ideas and you're not sure how to go about tackling them or how to go about organizing them because you're just spewing out ideas, one, that's really cool. One thing that I always try to do when I come up with ideas is to write down notes about them. And the note is in the same format. I have it in a template in Evernote, and I have a business idea folder where anytime I have a business idea, I would put it into that template, and it basically goes overview, and these are headers, and then I write it in. Concept, I write it in. Business model, I write it in. Why the world needs this, I write it in. Growth or some type of market sizing, just to make sure that it's possible, I write it in, and I put fake financials. So basically I'm taking the business model section and the market section and figuring out if it's a business that's viable. And then I might go about and figure out what are the marketing needs or the sales needs as well, so that I have an idea of is this viable with the least amount of money or funding or resources or time? How do I get this business off the ground? So that's where I would start. It's just every time you have an idea, put it in those create a Google Doc or Microsoft Word doc, put in those 5 categories, and then just start writing. And once you're at the end, you can look at it and go, okay, that's not a great idea. Or better yet, you can write it down and then show someone who's in that field and be like, hey, would you pay for this? And then that is the start of customer discovery, to figure out if what you're thinking about is actually marketable. Because sometimes you can have a product in market but not have a marketable product. So you want to make sure that you can actually market the thing that you're building. So that's the main way. Obviously, you got to keep learning, got to keep exposing yourself outside of the industry that you're going into, because that's where you'll get the cross-pollination of different people's experiences just by their reading or just by reading what they're writing. I think that's going to be super powerful for organizing your thoughts around an idea. And just keep throwing spaghetti against a wall. Sometimes an idea really has to hit you hard. I used to come up with ideas all the time before I started NoCap. I was like, okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure out how to make this work. I came up with so many ideas. There was a P2P selling idea because there was no commerce level side of any of the I want to sell clothing or I want to sell used items online. There's offer up, but they didn't offer commerce or shipping. So this idea of last mile delivery with commerce built in, so that we would validate it almost exactly if you think of what StockX does, but not for that type of stuff. It's just if I want to sell you my toy and I don't want to meet you in a Kroger parking lot or something like that, I can go through this website, they come and pick it up, they examine it, they put the money in escrow, they deliver it also, and then they keep an X amount. So that was the idea. There were so many other ideas. There was Hustle Tees Co., just with weird hustle idioms that I thought was funny. There were so many ideas. And so I think that if you have that knack for just coming up with stuff, really make sure that you're writing it all down, capturing it, because you never know what might come up. In fact, no cap was something that it was a combination of 7 business ideas that I had, and I just rolled them into one, and then kind of like looked at it and said, wait, that might be it. That might be the thing. So I encourage you to keep going, but make sure that you're thinking them through. They're not good business ideas just because you thought of them. It's a fallacy that a lot of people go through. They think that everything they think of is gold, and in reality, very rarely gold. Very rarely.